Got it. Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on a Friday, a rainy Friday. We're all excited here to, in a way, celebrate your achievement of going abroad this winter, but also prep you for that amazing experience. My name is Abby Segura, and I am your study abroad advisor here at Cal State Fullerton. And I will be presenting with my colleague Ketley, who is helping as well. She's the one changing the slides for me right now. So we'll go ahead and get started. So just to remind everybody, this session is only for students going abroad this winter 2026. And this is a general study abroad and global engagement pre-departure orientation. So we still want to make sure that you are attending your program-specific pre-departure orientations. This is a requirement for all study abroad students going during the winter 26. So before we get started, a few quick reminders. This session is being recorded, so like for our professors that we have in the room, any students that are not able to make it to this live session, the recording is going to be uploaded to the Teradata application, so the CSUF Study Abroad application. It'll be uploaded there as an assessment. So when students don't attend the session, they will have to go back into their application, view the recording, and then they will have to respond to a few questions just to ensure that they have met the requirement. For those of you that are here, you will also see that assessment on your application, but you will have the option to select that you did attend the live session. So that'll waive you from completing the assessment. And again, this is a general pre-departure orientation, so please make sure that you're still attending your program-specific orientations that will most likely be led by your faculty leads or in some occasions your program provider. And for questions, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We will come back to them at the very end, and at the end we will also open up for questions. But in the meantime, just so that you don't forget your question, go ahead and drop it there, and please rest assured we'll come back to it at the end. So this is our agenda for today. Some quick introductions, some announcements, reminders. Most of what this session is about is going over our pre-departure checklist. We will dive deep into student conduct and risk management related items. A quick reminder of a pre and post program survey that you will be receiving in the coming days, and going over a few additional resources that are available to you, and lastly, opening up to questions. Okay, so just wanted to once again let you all know that you have a team here to support you through this process. Cherie Merrill wasn't able to join us today, but she is our associate director that oversees all study abroad matters. And then Ellie, Chan, and Paloma, they both are students that are very involved in our office. Ellie is a student assistant and also a Global Titan ambassador. So if you ever have any questions, you're very likely going to see her at the front desk or very involved in our events. And Paloma is interning with us as well. She has studied abroad on one of the faculty-led programs as well. And then we have Ketley here. Do you want to introduce yourself, Ketley?
Hi, everyone. My name is Ketley Valcord. I'm the Study Abroad Programs Lead, so I kind of coordinate and help with all things faculty-led program matters. I directly work with the faculty in supporting all of you guys when it comes to recruitment, helping with vendors, anything that comes with that. So when it comes to more risk management, you might be hearing from me from that end. So that's kind of what we'll talk about or I guess I'll cover is the student conduct and different things like that to keep in mind. But yeah, thank you guys for joining.
Thank you. And then myself. So I'm the study abroad advisor. So I'm here to support students, whether it's a faculty-led program or we also have semester and year-long options. When it's time for applying for the Gilman Scholarship, I'm also a Gilman advisor. And yeah, so that's our team. And then also we do have Global Titan ambassadors. So you might have met with these students in the past or seen them at our tabling events, but these are students that have gone abroad and now they are volunteering with our office and they pretty much just share their experiences abroad. They represent the study abroad office in different campus events, and this will also be an opportunity available to you after you come back from your own study abroad experience. And just a reminder that we are located in PLN 120, and this is a study space available to all of you. So now that finals are coming up, if you are looking for a place to relax or study, you're welcome to join this space. If we ever do have any of our own events, this is usually where they take place. And we also want to take this chance to promote our Instagram takeover opportunity. So if you don't follow us yet, please follow us on CSUF Abroad. We are pretty active. We do try our best to post every day during the week. And the most popular thing that we do on there are the Instagram takeovers. So we do give students a chance while they're abroad to take over our account. For semester students, they get about a week, and we provide you with guidelines so that every day you're posting according to the specific topic that we've given you. So we are extending this invitation to all of you studying abroad this winter. If you are interested, please feel free to sign up here, and then our office will be communicating directly with you regarding what dates you would be assigned, login information, the guidelines, all of the instructions. So please note that for winter, we are very limited with time and the number of programs. So we wish all students could do a takeover, but we try our best, at least for the summer and the winter programs, to at least make sure that we have one student from each program doing a takeover. So we'll confirm with you if you've been selected to host a takeover. And the Global Titan Ambassadors Program is something that we also want to put on your radar now. This is the program that I mentioned earlier where we currently have other students volunteering, but through this experience, um, after you study abroad, you become eligible to be an ambassador. And this experience is you're really part of our team for a whole academic year. And we worked with you to help us promote study abroad. Whenever we coordinate our own programs, ambassadors are very involved in actually like coordinating and delivering these events. The Study Abroad Fair, I think, is the largest event that our students help us deliver. And yeah, many opportunities. I always tell students like it's a great opportunity if you want to keep talking about your study abroad experience. Eventually, your loved ones are going to get tired of hearing about it. It happened with me when I studied abroad, so this is a good place to keep talking about it. People are going to be super interested to hear about it, like especially for those large events that like we just had Fall in Love with CSUF. Students come with their loved ones, their families, and they want to hear all about it. So this is the space to do it. And once the application becomes available, we'll make sure to include all of you so that you could apply if you're interested, and we'll take it from there. And then just a quick reminder that our campus will be closed during some of the dates that you might be abroad. So winter session, December 23rd through January 2nd, our office is closed. So we just add this here just as a reminder that if you were to reach out to us during this time, there may be a delayed response, or you'll get that automated response from our general inbox with instructions on who to contact if it's an emergency. But if you need something during this time, we highly recommend that you also reach out to your professors leading your programs. And if it is an emergency, then we'll go over other steps in the following slides of who you should contact. So before we get started, um, we always want to remind you that a lot of the information we're talking about today is included in your CSUF study abroad application. So you are able to access that at any time as long as you have access to Wi-Fi. So all of that information, you can always go back and look at it. Um, you by this time you should have completed most of your post application phase. So the pre-departure assessments, a few questionnaire items. We'll be doing a few like application audits just to make sure that everything is completed before you depart. So we'll be doing that in the coming days. And if we see that your application is not yet completed, we will be notifying your faculty just to let them know that you still have a few missing items, and we'll all be checking in with you to make sure you complete everything before you leave. So as part of that post-decision application phase, there were quite a few pre-departure assessment videos that you had to watch, and then you had to complete a series of assessment questions. So these are the topics that were covered during those pre-departure assessment videos. As you can see, it's a lot. So during this hour that we have together, we won't be touching these topics because you already had quite a bit of information presented to you through those assessment videos. So like I said, you can always go back and rewatch them, or if you have any questions, feel free to email us directly. Or at the end of this presentation, we'll have Q&As and we could also talk about it there. So moving on to more of like contact information while you're abroad. If you ever find yourself in a place where you need assistance and you can't get a hold of your professor or a program representative, this is the number that you should be contacting. So this is the 24/7 line. We highly recommend that you save this number in your phone. We are also requiring that all study abroad students download WhatsApp, as that will be the main place of communication in case any emergency comes up. And I'll explain a little bit more later. But um, please make sure you save this number in your phone, and someone from our team will get back to you as soon as they see your message or your call. Um, you can go to the next slide, Kathleen. And we'll be sharing the slides with everybody here, everybody, so you'll have all this information as well. This is the WhatsApp group that I mentioned. So we created a community for Winter 26, and within that community, there are subgroups for each one of your programs. Please join the respective program that you're participating on. Um, this program community or this WhatsApp community is only to be used in case of an emergency. So some scenarios where we have used it in the past, for example, if there was like a natural disaster, so like an earthquake happens and we want to check in with everyone, are you okay? Please respond okay to this group message. So ideally, there should be no activity in this chat if everything's going great. But if something does come up, this is where you would be reaching out to us. So please make sure that you're only using this for an emergency. It should not be used to connect with each other or plan something on your free time, or because we have seen that kind of start happening sometimes with some groups, and we put a stop to it right away because we just want to make sure that it's very clear to everybody that this is only to be used in case of an emergency. And in terms of safety, the other thing that we want to remind you to do is to please enroll in the STEP program. So as part of your CSUF study abroad application, this was one of the to-do items where we did provide you with the instructions, the link. So we can't do this on your behalf. So we are relying on you to do this for yourself. It's a very simple process. You would go on step.state.gov. Really, all you're doing is inputting your trip information, and this way you will receive notifications if there's anything urgent happening in the country you're traveling in, but also if something were to ever happen in that country, like a natural disaster, there is a way where now the travel government community or has a way to track which citizens are abroad and all of that. So again, we can't like we have no way of tracking that you're doing this, so we're 100% relying that you're doing this on your own. So just please make sure to do this before you leave. And then just some quick reminders on traveling and illnesses. It is something that happens very common on these programs, especially because our short-term programs, they're so packed with activities. There's a lot going on. You can be on your feet all day. So we understand that. And it has been my experience sometimes that students um, are trying to like hide it. Like if they're not feeling well, like they just want to keep going, right? They don't want to interrupt their program. Please don't do that. Please know that there's services, there's people that have been assigned to be a point of contact in case you do need to go see a doctor, in case you need to stay behind for a day to recover. So if you ever don't feel well, please make sure you're communicating that to your faculty leads, and they will take action from there. So just again, these are items that were covered in your pre-departure assessment videos. But if you just want to double check the CDC website to see what advice they have for the specific country you're going to. There's the World Health Organization as well. The US State Department country specific website will also give you more tips and insight into how you could prepare for the specific country you're going to. We also always recommend that you take your own supplies of medication that you may need. Um, if you have prescription medications, make sure that you're always taking the, the respective like documentation in case you're questioned about it. But also very common when you travel, right? If you get sick, it's much easier to know I already have the Tylenol that I need on me instead of feeling really sick and then having to navigate that in a new country, right? So it's very helpful to have at least those over-the-counter products that you might need for like a simple cold or just something to help boost you. And like I said, bring a copy of your prescription documents. And always be sure to research if your medications are legal in your host country or countries, and if not, what you will need to request an alternative prior to your trip.
I did want to add something to keep in mind when traveling with prescription medication is I know sometimes people use the pill boxes to kind of divvy up what medications they need. It's really important to keep it in the box or container that it was given to you in, especially if you do get stopped and asked to provide information for the medication that you do bring. Having it in, the doctor certified whatever container that it came in will be easier to validate that this is, normal and normal pills that you can take along with you, on top of that prescription documentation. So all of that together, keeping it as documented as much as possible when traveling is always the best.
Yes. Thank you. And then moving on to academics. So, um, the majority of these programs require enrollment in a winter session course. So please make sure that you're fully enrolled in that course. That is the requirement to participate on these programs. Uh, we have had scenarios in the past where students are abroad and they have not done this. So please make sure you do that in addition to making sure that you are paying for your tuition, because just a reminder that your tuition is separate from the program fee that you paid, because we have also had that happen in the past where a student paid the program fee and they assumed that the tuition was covered through that. So just to reiterate, tuition and program fees are separate. Tuition will be handled as usual through your Titan portal, and same with registration. So make sure you're enrolling in your course. Um, the exception, of course, is the CAS program because you enrolled in your course during the fall semester and now your travel is happening during the winter. So you can disregard this part. And travel health insurance. So travel health insurance is something that is provided to all study abroad students by CSUF Risk Management at no additional cost. So this is a matter that has been handled on your behalf. Our team has requested the insurance for the duration of your academic program. And I believe for almost everyone, we're waiting on a few programs, but the majority, your insurance has been bound. And we have already emailed you, or will soon be emailing you the insurance card. So This screenshot that you see here, this is it. It's a PDF. So sometimes students expect to receive like a physical card in the mail, but no, this PDF attachment, you'll receive it in an email with instructions on how to use it. We always recommend that you carry a copy of this, whether it's in your phone or a printed copy if you ever need to use um, the travel health insurance. A reminder that this is only for health services. So we have had students that confuse it with travel insurance. So like if my flight is delayed, if my luggage is lost, that is very different. That is something that is usually booked like through your flight agency or whoever you booked your flight with. Um, this is specifically only for health related circumstances. Um, Another thing that and in your application there was a very detailed layout of the steps for using this. So if you want to revisit that, you're welcome to do that within your study abroad application. But I think just some basic info to keep in mind if you ever need to use insurance, you could please communicate with your faculty lead because they're also aware of how the process works. But in general, you have access to the number here. They'll be able to connect you with providers in the country where you're at that speak English, that can assist you. But you do have to pay out of pocket. So be prepared to have some cash on hand in case you do need to pay for something. You will eventually be reimbursed. So um, that's one thing that you want to make sure you're holding on to your receipts, invoices, so that when it is time for you to have this conversation with the insurance provider, you have all the documentation you need. Um, but yeah, like I said, please always communicate with your faculty leads if you have any questions, and always carry a copy of this with you.
So I'll go ahead and jump in. So I'll be covering student conduct and safety. This section is kind of lengthy. We'll really be going into the details of what is considered or what to consider when we talk about safety and conduct abroad. So SAGE is committed to ensuring preparedness and safety for students and program leaders who embark on faculty-led programs. Purpose of this information in this orientation and in the portal application is to inform students about their responsibilities to uphold CSUF and CSU policies. So just keep in mind, yes, you're traveling, yes, you're having fun, but there are things that you still have to adhere to abroad, just as much as you have to adhere to on campus. There we go. So you do sign an agreement when you are applying for the program. And we're going to go into details to like what you signed off on. So use, possession, or distribution of alcohol and or facilitating the use, possession, and distribution of alcohol by an underage individual. So that we get this question a lot. You know, you're abroad, the drinking age is different. Am I able to drink? We like to adhere to the rule of, you know, our home country. So if you're 21, please just, Atul's shaking his head. Um, we really want to make sure that students are adhering to the US policy. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat and we can go through that. It just really keeps it across the board as to what to expect moving forward. Same thing, use, possession, distribution of any illegal or illicit drugs, sexual assault, sexual harassment, and or indecent exposure. Sexual assault is defined as the implied use or threatened use of force to engage in any sexual activity against another person's will, behavior that threatens the emotional or physical well-being and or safety of the participants, including, but not limited to, any form of fighting. Unauthorized use of any fire safety equipment, including the activation of alarms or extinguishers without any immediate cause, possession of any weapons, failure to attend any planned event activity without approval of any faculty, staff, or supervisors. So you kind of thinking like this is a lot. I can't even imagine myself in this situation, but really go into it knowing that you are protected in this sort of circumstance if anything should arise. It doesn't have to be another CSUF student or participant to inflict any of these dangers on you. It can be anyone abroad. So make sure that you're communicating with your program lead in any of these situations should they arise, and then we will take over and make sure that you are protected and taken care of. Different expectations. So the student code of conduct. So uh, Abby, correct me if I'm wrong, you sign this off while attending to CSUF. So again, it still adheres to what when you are abroad as well, abiding to local laws and regulations. So really we want to implore you to understand what are the local laws and rules. Sometimes it can be noise adherences and making sure that you're quiet past a certain hour or, going into certain um, government buildings or different things like that. So just be aware that things can change as you're going from city to city, country to country. Adherence to the itinerary and directions provided through the trip, even when planned activities change. Staying connected and participating with the group at all times for scheduled programming. So, yes, some of you, this might be the first time abroad and you might be really interested in, changing your schedule up, but really we want to make sure and remind you that you are there for academic reasons. So sticking to the program, the sticking to the itinerary that your program lead has provided. You're still in a course, you're still required to get a grade after. So really just remember that that is your first and foremost your obligation. Adherence to curfews and rules set by the program leaders. We'll leave that up to the program leaders for them to set that for you. But this is obviously a safety precaution. We want to make sure that they know where you are at all times. And yes, acting with respect to all participants as well as representatives of the host location, dressing in ways that are appropriate to activities and cultural norms of host location. Keep that in mind when you're stepping into different countries and different activities. What might be appropriate in the US might not be appropriate in other countries as well. So definitely start having those conversations when we talk about packing lists and all of that. Demonstrating polite etiquette during social and dining activities. Again, this changes country by country, culture by culture. So just be aware of what those dynamics are and just keep those in mind as you're moving into those different areas. Acting in curious and courteous ways and remembering at all times that the trip is a form of education, both academically and culturally. So again, stepping into a new culture might be different than what you're going into. It's never wrong. It's never bad. And just be aware some of the places that you're going to, a lot of foreigners might be going to those locations and they might be hearing those type of language. So going in and accepting that, hey, this is not bad or wrong, this is different and I want to learn how this works for this culture. So kind of start implementing that language into your everyday so you go into those new cultures open to what they have to offer. Not permitting those who are not participants in the program to accompany any portion of the program or allowing access to any facilities or housing that are part of the program. So we've had in the past where boyfriends, moms, family members, mailmen's, dog sitters, whoever kind of just jump in and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to be in the country already, or I'm going to, join you for this tour, this different excursion." We do not allow that. So just how you don't really have those said people sit in class with you, we don't allow them to join you with any parts of the itinerary. So please, 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 no surprise guest when you are traveling. Alerting program leaders about any non-problems facing the individual or the group through objective accounts of the situation. So just your program leader is the first point of contact should anything arise. Obviously, you have the phone number, you have the WhatsApp. There's many ways to get in contact with someone should something come up, but your program leader is there with you. They're more aware of the context, so please contact them first. Social media etiquette. So the who, what, why, when, and where. So who, please exercise caution when posting the faces or identities of others. Going into these cultural spaces, again, understanding different cultural nuances. You don't really want to enforce that or impose that on anyone who might not know that their picture's being taken. So obviously, if you're just like walking on a road, you can't really walk up to every single person. But if it's more of a hey, head on, just be courteous and just be cautious of the people in your pictures and if you post them. Please do not photograph minors. Always ask for permission before taking a photo of another person and confirm whether they can use the photo for social media purposes. What? You are not only representing SAGE, but also CSUF. Please ensure that the content is suitable. For example, we advise that you refrain from posting content that showcases excessive alcohol consumption. We are aware that some programs you might be enjoying a glass of alcohol, but we're mostly talking about the partying scene, kind of that excessive look. So remember that why, remember the study and study abroad in every social media post. We want to highlight more of the academic aspect that you can, enjoy learning abroad, but kind of keep that at the forefront of your mind when you are wanting to post. When be in the moment, take all the photos you like, but worry about posting later. It takes away from the experience. And then where, be cautious of location tagging. Try not to post locations while you are still there. So kind of want to go into this a little bit. What does that mean? Sometimes when you are in an area that a lot of foreigners frequent, many people who are also in those areas that are locals who have not the best intentions in mind kind of keep track of specific bar locations or anything like that. And they can follow you through that location tagging on Instagram or whatever. And then now they have your access to your Instagram or whatever social media you're on right there. So we're not saying don't ever use a location tagging. Obviously, if you're posting the country, that's totally fine. But just be cautious of that location tagging, who can follow you through that avenue. All right, so possible consequences for violations. So CSUF disciplinary action, that is, kind of that standard, just how you are adhered to the same expectations on campus as you are abroad. So keep aware of that. Expulsion of the program, legal consequences. This is kind of out of our hands. If you are in a country that has different rules than us, they expect that as your responsibility to be aware of those laws and regulations. Financial loss, if anything that happens that is, because of, your inconsistency or anything like that, that financial responsibility comes back on you. So be aware of that. And then risks to health and safety. That is just kind of a general, just be aware that any consequences you might get yourself into, you are risking your health and safety. Then lastly, your purpose, kind of going back to your why. So before you leave, consider what do I want to gain from this experience. So obviously you're going to get a course credit. That is the kind of that bulk of the experience. But this can be an introspective moment. What do you want to gain if this is your first time abroad? Is there a food that you want to try that you've never done before? Is just going through customs, like this big thing that you've always been afraid of and you're wanting to kind of overcome. So really think about that. There's so many experiences that you can gain from studying abroad or just being abroad in general. So that's something to think about now. What do I want to learn? Of course, all of these faculty have done such a great job coordinating your programs and facilitating places and ways to learn, but challenge you to push back on that. How much more can you learn? Is there ways that you can expand on that? But also be open to learning from things you didn't always expect to happen. So that is a big one with traveling abroad. You really can't plan for every little thing. So be flexible, be understanding, be open to what may happen. You're going to grow through this experience. So just be prepared for that. And then pre-programmed survey. So this is to all students. This will also be linked in an email after this orientation. So if you want to go ahead and scan it, have it on your phone, and then fill it out after, that's fine too. But obviously we'll be wrapping up. And should any questions come up, obviously you can always put that in the chat. But, as Sage, we always want to strive for excellence and be better. So we're open to any and all feedback. So I'll give it a couple seconds if you want to scan. But again, we'll be linking this afterwards. Then finally, if you haven't scanned for the WhatsApp emergency app, go ahead and go for that as well. And then we have our packing list. Just be aware we're going to a lot of different climates this winter, so obviously we might have to adjust country by country, climate by climate, but those are definitely up for your availability. And again, you'll have access to all of this because you will receive the slides after. So now we can open up for questions. If you want to meet or talk a little bit longer, this is all of our email addresses. If you ever want to schedule a time to chat, obviously always open for it. But yeah, as for now, that concludes our Winter 26 orientation.
And you can also drop questions in the chat. We'll be here for a few minutes. But that is the end of our presentation. So if you have to leave, that's okay. And then we'll be sending the recording and the slides to everyone. Um,
Thank you,
yeah.
ladies.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Mhm.
Looks like there's some issues with the emergency number. It says there's no WhatsApp account associated with that number. Abby, would you?
We're gonna have to look into it.
Do you guys see the same thing when you try to just put it in? Because I was trying to add it and it gave me a message saying there's no account for this.
Yeah. We're gonna have to get back to you on that one.
No worries.
I think I know what happened. I think we're probably, yeah, it's a new number, so
I
we're
noticed
either
that
gonna have
because
to go back to the old number or yeah, one of those two. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you. Of
Thank you for letting us know. Yeah.
course.
All right, any other questions? All right, so like we said, we will have all this in an email to follow up. If any questions do come up after the fact, feel free to reach out. But that's all we have for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.